Hi guys, Squall here. Welcome to another American Truck Sim video. We're in the same truck I was in the last video. This is the Peterbilt 389. It's the Viper mod. I've changed the color of it, but otherwise the configuration of the truck is the same. 6x4, 525 horsepower, etc. I've got an owned trailer on the back. It's a Smithco side dump trailer, and we're about to pick up our cargo in a second. We're in Mexico. We're going to go on a nice twisty mountain road. It's going to be really good fun. But before we begin the video, just want to give you a very quick sponsored message. This is from BOTB. Now, BOTB have allowed me to put together my own competition giveaway thing, if you like. Allowed me to spec out the giveaway. And I've got two fantastic competitions for you if you want to enter. The first one is for a simulator gaming bundle. This is insane. This is an insane Asus ROG i9 laptop, a water-cooled i9 PC, like overclocked, a 27-inch Asus ROG monitor, headset, keyboard, and then I've thrown in Thrustmaster TSXW racing wheel, Warthog joystick, rudder pedals, a farm sim controller, and even some Cytec flight panels as well. So that is everything that you would need to do simulator gaming. That's driving, trucking, flying. It's an absolute beast of a setup. I think the tickets cost 70p for that one, and the whole thing is worth like £14,000. The other giveaway is, I think tickets are only 15p for this one, and this is 4 hours in a full motion flight simulator rig, either an Airbus or a Boeing, your choice, and I think they've got places in Gatwick and Manchester that you can go to. So tickets for that, really cheap, and the competition is huge. So thank you for BOTB for putting those bundles together. Right, let's have a look where we are on the map. We're down in the Mexico area again, and we are just northwest of Tepic, and our journey today is going to take us through this twisty road. It's very, very twisty, this thing, up to Juaz. Let's start the truck up, and we need to pull forward slightly and pick up our cargo. So let's do that. And I'll talk about the exact journey that we're going on here. There it is, and we'll put it in neutral. Cargo market, like I said, this is an owned trailer, so I'll pick up the cargo market. Sandblast to Juaz, it's that one there. Ground limestone. So this is a building materials site here. So they're going to want us to haul over there. So I just need to reverse in and load up. And I've just noticed that for some reason the track IR's not been picked up. So I quickly need to restart American Truck Sim. Be right back. And there we go. Not sure what happened there, but my track IR wasn't working. I think ATS hadn't recognised it when it started up. So there you go. Building supplies. Not sure how they're going to load this thing up. They must have a machine in there. But we'll not worry about that. You can see there's a little gap in the scenery. As I said before, this is not a super well tested map, but it is a fun map. Oh, the long turn. The long turn of doom. We've got enough room there, yeah we have. Let's just pull forward slightly. The long wheelbase of this truck takes so long to turn. And if you get used to driving Euro trucks, the cab over type stuff, it really catches you out, because when you on a cab over, when you turn the wheel, the truck almost immediately starts to create an angle with the trailer. But with a long wheelbase truck like this one, 6x4, it takes quite a while before it actually starts to turn the trailer. By then you've already moved. Right, turn the engine off and press enter, because this is a cargo load, so it's going to take an hour. Maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. Flipping heck, that took a while. Cargo has been loaded. Right, let's have a look at our actual routing here. So we're going to come out of here, go straight on the highway, then we're going to turn off. I need to be careful here. There is actually an invisible wall there, if I remember, on the ground. I drove into it once, so I just need to be a little bit careful. I may have to teleport past that. I don't think you can drive past it. Anyway, once we've got past that, we're going to drive through here. We should be fully loaded up on fuel, but I'll just double check before we leave, because there's no actual fuel station. Oh, there's actually one there. So if we need fuel, we need to get it now, because the next fuel stop is up here. And then we're going to head up through this twisty road. Now, what you can't see is how kind of hilly this road is. Let's just start the engine, check our fuel. Fuel gauge is showing, well, what's that, 7/8, something like that. Just on the lower dials there on the right. Just below the speedo. So we should be okay for fuel. Lights are on, I assume. Yes, lights are all on. Parking brake off, and we'll get going. So just that off ramp to look for. Now, I've not gone for a particularly long trailer today. There's a very good reason for that. It's because the journey that we're going on, like I say, it's very hilly, very twisty, and it has some very sharp bends in it. And if you take a trailer through that's a bit too long, you can find yourself in trouble. Not through your own doing, just because of the way the roads have been laid out. You end up having to... your trailer will end up dragging down the inside of a bend, and you'll probably get hit by something. And the worst things in this game, I have found, to get hit from are the coaches. So if you're using a mod that adds coaches like I am with the Jazzy Cat stuff, what actually happens in-game is the game treats the coach as a car. So it thinks the car is just a small car, but it's actually like, you know, 2 to 3 times the size of the car, because it's a coach. And when it goes around a corner, it tends to really swing out, and it'll slam into the side of your trailer, I find. So by having a shorter trailer, we at least have the chance of getting round there without too much of a problem. Let's just check that before I move over. Ooh, that was close. I think I should have given way though. It said alto, which alto means stop, I think. Which is weird, because alto to me sounds like it's something to do with height, like altitude, alto. But I think it means stop, which sounds more like halt or halto. Anyway, I don't know any Mexican, so I have no clue. What's the speed limit? See, we're on a road now with no speed limit. So we'll assume 55 or something like that. Although we'll probably start to be pushed by the AI. Okay, this is our turn off, and I just need to be very careful here. Because I drove down here at full speed and hit an invisible wall, and it's absolutely trashed the truck. And I think it was this exit. I'm sure it was this exit. We'll see. I remember it's on this corner here somewhere. You can't see it, but we'll feel it if it's here. I'm sure... yeah, there it is. There. I was about to say, I'm sure it was here somewhere. Now, if you get this situation, what you can do is, if you've got the console, you can put G_col_box1, and that will show you the collision boxes. And you can actually see the problem. Well, looking at this, it's kind of hard to see exactly what the issue is. So normally I could see like a box and I would be able to see something I can actually drive around. But in this, I can't. So yeah, we'll turn that off. It looks like it's not drivable, so what we'll do is we'll just quickly teleport past it. It's best to have... there we go. It's best to have this stuff turned on with the Mexico map. Just allow yourself to teleport, because occasionally you will... it's unfortunate, but occasionally you will see a problem like that. Hopefully that'll get fixed in the next release. But apart from that, I don't know of any other problem on our journey today. Just something to be aware of. Oof. And if you want to know how to teleport, or you want to know how to bring the console up, which I'm sure some people are like, how did he do that? How did he just bring that thing up and move the truck? I do have a complete guide to it. It's my... I'll link it in the video if I remember. Look, floating trucks, you see it? I'll link it in the video description if I remember. It's the... what's it called? There's a console guide, I think it is. Which tells you how to do it. I'll link it in the video description so that you've got it there. And don't forget, I'll put those BOTB competitions in the video description as well, in case you want to enter that. Just be aware on that BOTB thing. The flight sim one is UK only. You have to go to somewhere in the UK for that. So if you're international, probably best if you don't enter that one. But the gaming rig, I think that's worldwide. But just double check the terms and conditions before you actually enter. I love the scenery, it's so nice, look at this. As you go on ahead northwest, it starts to become more desert-like, but on this bit here there's quite a bit of green. But this will soon get very twisty. We'll actually have a quick look at the map here. There you can see, the mountain ahead of us is basically what we're going to start twisting around in a second. Let's slow it down a bit. Also, I love these little Mexican style buildings. Look at this. There seems to be a lot of speed bumps in Mexico. Now, I don't know if it's a thing in real life, but in this map, you'll often see these strips here that are a little bit suspension braking, shall we say. Get away with some speed, but don't go full speed into them. Right, this is where we start concentrating, because we're going to have to start a climb, I guess, most of that elevation though. I do like this colour. I've coloured, I was looking like what colour to make the truck, because if you remember in the last video I had like a brown colour. And I thought if I go something a little bit more classic, a bit more retro, so I went for a non-metallic colour like this. We're going to have to work the gears here. I am on manual. I'm actually using an Almar shifter, which is an SKRS shifter. I'm going to do a video on this Almar shifter pretty soon, because the CSIO one that I used to use is no longer available. I did actually show this shifter briefly, actually, this Almar one. I did actually show it in that video I did about steering wheels, which you may have seen. But it needs its own video, really, because it's a bit like the CSIO. It's you stick it on top of a manual shifter, and then it gives you the high and low range and split gearbox, which, if you're a fan of manual driving, you know, it's one of those things that just makes it so much nicer. Because the problem with most shifters on the racing wheels that we buy is they're exactly that. They're built for racing, so they tend to be a short shift kind of thing. And they're great for racing because you want to be able to change gear as quickly as possible. But when it comes to trucking, you actually want a longer shifter with a longer throw on it, and you actually want the split buttons as well, and the range buttons, so that you can move through the gears properly, particularly with something like an Eaton 13 speed or an 18 speed. I mean, yes, you can map a button to it on something else, like on your wheel or on a controller or something like that, but it's just so much nicer to actually have it in the same place as it is on a real truck. And definitely, if you're a fan of manual shifting, something like the Almar shifter is a worthy investment to create a better rig. Right, we're just going to keep the momentum here, because that's really what it's about. What's the weight of this trailer, by the way? 24 tons of ground limestone. You know, it's a real pity that you don't actually see the goods being loaded or unloaded in the game. That would be super cool. Like in a lot of, you know, train sims, well, Train Sim World comes to mind, where you can actually see cargo like this being loaded up. You could actually see it being loaded into the hopper, and you can actually unload it and see it tip out. Like, that kind of thing would be really cool. Expect to be overtaken a lot on these climbs, and the AI doesn't care about the solid line. Okay. Whoops, that was my bad. I thought it was in a different gear there and shifted into the wrong place. I just about caught it before we lost all the momentum. Of course, automatic gearboxes, like well, most trucks are more automatic these days anyway, but you just put your foot down and let it worry about it, which, you know, is convenient, there's no doubt about that. It's very convenient. But I do like having to think about my gears. And also I can, with a manual gearbox, I can kind of hold the revs better. Like, automatic gearboxes are nice, but they don't take account of what's coming. They have no sense of prediction. Like, you can't... Like, a human can look down the road and see that the climb is going to level out, or the climb's about to get steeper, or whatever it is. Whereas an automatic gearbox doesn't have that information currently. That's not to say they won't in future. In fact, that's probably one of the things that could be added to an automatic gearbox to make them better. But they're certainly convenient, the auto gearboxes. But when you do manual, sometimes, like I just did, you'll miss a gear, or you'll get the wrong gear. And on a hill like this, you can very quickly lose momentum and very quickly get in trouble. Because trying to hill start something like this is not easy. And everybody behind you won't be too happy either. Oh. You can see how much elevation we're starting to get now. It's a good haul though, I like this, good fun. Proper twisty road. Of course, when we come down the other side, we'll have the opposite problem. It's no different to what I was doing in Derail Valley, really. When you take the big hills in a train, you've got the same problem. You've got energy management, essentially. You've got a lot of mass to haul going up, and then a lot of mass trying to push you going down. And it's just about controlling that without overheating brakes and overheating engines and stuff like this. Well, I like the challenge. I think it's fun. Nice straight bit. So like now the temptation is to change up a gear, but I'm not. I'm just going to back off on the throttle. Because I can see that coming up is a turn that's going to require me to be in this gear anyway. Whereas an automatic gearbox may well have shifted me up and then shifted me back down. I can't understand a word of that sign. Poblado Proximo. Proximo means... Poblado Proximo. Traffic... Sharp bend, traffic close, something like that. Narrow lane. Probably narrow lane. Proximo obviously means close to. I need to be careful about cutting these corners. I can see the trailer wheels going over the white line, so we'll just try and leave a bit more room if we can. Just saw that in the mirror then. Of course, you get the opposite problem here. You need to stay wide. Man, look at that. We're down to like 3/4 on the fuel already. Bearing in mind this is like a 300-gallon tank, and we've just burned 1/8 of it. Not really gone that far either. There's a sign then saying warning. It was like a car and a rock falling. That's the one thing you don't get in this game, isn't it? Like proper dynamic events like that, like rock falls. That would be interesting. Animals running across the road, rocks falling down. Okay, now we're going downhill. Let's get the brakes. Whoa, that quickly picked up speed. So look at that now, we're pretty high up. Let's just start using the retarder to control the energy going down. Motorbikes, did you see the motorbike? That still makes me laugh. Officially, there are no motorbikes in the game currently. So you have to mod them in. Jazzy Cat's got a motorcycle pack, but what's utterly hilarious about it is, again, the game just treats it as a car. So it doesn't understand about, motorcycles leaning over. They stay perfectly upright just like the cars do. And so you see these motorcycles which are going quite quick, and they go around these really sharp corners, but they don't lean over. So they kind of look like Tron bikes, just sticking to the road like magnets. I do wonder if they'll actually add... I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's that hard. Like, if the motorcycle's turning left, you make it lean left in proportion to the amount it's turning, and if it's turning right, do the same thing. And I don't think SCS would have a massive deal adding that. But it would make it nice, because it means the motorcycles would actually lean over and look good. Right, almost a hairpin coming up. And it's a climbing hairpin as well. Oh, nice car, bro. Split down a gear. I would love to have an altimeter in here so that we know what our elevation is, because it feels like we've climbed quite a bit. Of course, we're going to burn most of our fuel climbing, and then we're going to free roll it all the way down. That's probably what's going to happen. Let's have a quick look at the map and see. Oh, hello. Well, he took a nice wide berth through though. That was pretty good, actually. I'm just seeing how far we've got. We're about, what, halfway or something? Halfway through this very mountainous, twisty road. Of course, you try this at night time and in the rain, and that would be a wholly different experience. Like right now, it's early afternoon, and it, you know, it's quite nice. I remember once I went to, I think it was Tenerife. It's Tenerife, it's Mount Teedy in Tenerife. If you ever go to Tenerife, I think it's called Mount Teedy, definitely go up there. You can either get a coach up there, or I just hired a car and drove it myself. And I'm so glad I did, because it's such a cracking view. But I tell you, even though it's like 25, 30 Celsius on the beach, you go up Mount Teedy, and by the time you get up there, you need a jumper. Like, can be pretty cold. Anyway, I went up there in my car, and it was a long drive, a bit like this, twisty roads, you know, blah, blah, blah. You climb. And then you get up there and you spend some time, there's like a cable car and all kinds of things. There are places up there that look like you're on the moon. I'm not even joking. They are like moon rock. It's a spooky place in places. It's quiet. You're elevated, and the rock, it's all volcanic. I mean, the whole of the Canaries are volcanic islands, so it's all volcanic rock up there, and it just looks like the moon's surface in places. Anyway, by the time we sort of started to come back down again, it started to get quite late. And I think this was in like April or May, so sunset was probably around 7 o'clock-ish, and it was already like 6:30. And it was a good hour and a half drive back down. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. That drive back down in the dark, that's an experience, that is. Like, before that happened though, the reason we got stuck up there at night, we didn't really get stuck up, we chose to stay up there because the clouds, we were above the layer of the clouds and the sun was setting. And I'll never forget, like, sitting on a rock looking at the clouds below us, and it was like a fluffy blanket of clouds as the sun went down, and the sunlight, orangey sunlight, just hit the tops of the clouds, and you were just looking at it going, this is magnificent. Like, this is absolutely magnificent. And then 20 minutes later, of course, the sun's gone down and it's starting to get dark real quick. And like, okay, at this point we should probably get in the car and leave. So we jumped in the car, started driving back. Of course, 30 minutes later, it is now pitch black. There's no lights on these roads. It's twisty mountain roads at night. And for the next hour, I had to concentrate real hard. Driving down the side of a mountain with hairpins and stuff at night, with just your headlights. Yeah. That was tiring. I'm so glad that I did it, because that it was worth it just for that sunset. But if that kind of thing freaks you out, you want to get down, you want to get back down the mountain way before the sun starts going down, because it's tiring coming back again. We are cruising. Looks like we may have reached maximum elevation, I don't know. Cruising all the way back down. I'm just using the retarder to sort of... We have got the Jake brake as well if we need it. But I am not using the brakes to do it. I actually don't think that the brake temperature is modeled in this game. I don't think there's any brake fade, is there? I've often wondered, like, maybe they should do that. You see this red line here? I don't know if you know what this is for. This red line is actually a runoff. It marks the runoff lane, so if your brakes are starting to fade on your truck now or whatever, and you're picking up speed and you're panicking, what you basically do is follow this red line. And it's going to take you into a gravel trap. I mean, that's if you've not turned over at this point, because it's quite twisty, but... There's the gravel trap. You see, you just go to the right now. And that is all gravel, and that will just arrest your vehicle straight away. Of course, the problem is like, how do you get your vehicle back out again? Apparently there's winches and stuff that you can use to haul your vehicle back out the gravel. But it's meant to be, you know, it's meant to be for emergencies only. I mean, I don't know what it's like on modern trucks. The braking systems are pretty good these days, and there's a lot of, you know, there's transmission retarders available, so I don't know if it's as much as a problem as it used to be, but obviously back in the day, with the older trucks and the older brakes, like, they would have overheated pretty quickly. And that would have been a real thing. And without that runoff, you're going to be causing an accident. Okay, that climb came out of nowhere. I thought we were done climbing, I thought we were coasting to victory. These vehicles behind me are probably... Have you ever been stuck behind a truck or a coach or something going over a pass like this? Oh my god. It is so frustrating. They go a lot slower. And it's hard to find an overtaking spot. We'll just split the gear there. I was contemplating not changing up, but 1500 RPM seems to be the sweet spot in this truck. Like, it's quite a nice RPM. Which gives you some options, like if you just need to climb, you've still got plenty of torque left. Oh boy. But it's not over revving. It's great scenery though, isn't it? See what I mean about this Mexico map? It's just fun. It's just lots of fun. Of course, you've no doubt seen the next DLC for American Truck has been announced. Washington State. No release date yet. I would suspect it'd be fairly soon though, like April maybe. That's my feeling. So far, we don't know exactly what Euro Truck expansion's going to be, but there are some good clues and guesses around, but nothing definitely confirmed. Oh, by the way, I think I mentioned this. I don't know if you guys are going to be at Truckfest this year. Truckfest Peterborough is the first weekend in May, I think it is. Peterborough in the UK, that is. I will mention this in other videos, but I will be at Truckfest Peterborough, and SCS are going to be there again with their trailer. So if you guys are going to be around, it'd be good to catch up with a few of you. I will be there for the whole weekend. Ooh, town. Little Mexican town, little sleepy town. Stop off for a taco. I like Mexican food. Although as I'm recording this, it's, what do they call it? Shrove Tuesday, otherwise known as Pancake Day. So I won't be having Mexican tonight, I'll be having pancakes. I'm probably going to stick strawberries and Nutella on there. That's my go-to. Strawberries and Nutella. It's either that or lemon juice and sugar. They're so unhealthy though, aren't they, these pancakes, when you think about it? They really are. They're basically a sugar fest. I remember as a kid, I absolutely used to love Pancake Day. Like, you know, Mum, we're having pancakes, you know. And she used to make quite thick, you can make quite thin ones. I think they're called crepes. Like the French style of pancake is thin, and they call them a crepe. But my mum used to make quite thick pancakes, and I really like that. But at the end of the day, pancakes are basically just like flour and egg, aren't they? Oh, this is Twisty. Basically flour and egg. Quickly fry it, and then chuck a load of sugary things on top. That's essentially what it's about. Okay, this is quite a twisty descent here. Let's just be careful that I don't cut the corners off here, because the sun's starting to go down as well. It's like 5:43 p.m. And there's a set of hairpins coming up. Look at this. Might need to start thinking about putting some lights on here. The lights are weird on this. Like, the internal lighting is almost stronger than the outside. It does have outside lighting, but as you can probably see, the kind of bonnet takes up most of it. So the main beam is pretty decent. Like, that lights up quite a bit. But that kind of light there is what I thought the normal should do, because it's still lighting the ground, isn't it? It's not really lighting the ahead of you like a main beam should. Right, so far so good. Let's not make a mess of it now. Looks like it's getting misty as well. Just keep the speed managed. And hope there's nothing coming the other... Oh my life, dude. That is possibly the worst place that you could have overtaken. As I was moving left, so I could get a better view. Just before a hairpin. Guy goes for it. Actually, for AI, that was quite realistic. That's exactly the kind of thing people would do, isn't it? 88 miles left. So I'm guessing we're going to descend into some kind of little town again. Fren con motor. I have no idea what that means. Fren con motor. Right, it's sent it again, so I'm guessing it's something to do with your engine. Maybe it means like low gear. I don't know. Okay, we actually want to go like straight ahead of us there, but we have to go all this twisty road first. This is some descent, isn't it? And don't forget, you can do this journey coming back the other way. And it'll be a different experience. Zona de Neblina. If anybody understands Mexican, feel free to let me know what the heck these signs actually say. Hello, what's all this about? Is that water or dust? Oh, it must have been water, look. a big waterfall thing going on. Okay, I've been quite lucky with the timing though. I mean, if you get another truck coming the other way or a coach though, that can be pretty nasty. Maybe the sign has something to do with the waterfall then. Wow, this is like being around the Hoover Dam. Slow it down a touch. You could probably do this a little bit faster, but I don't... You know, if you was in a real truck, this is kind of the speed you'd probably be doing it. Okay, we've got a bit of a hairpin left, but it looks clear. Right, throttle down. Keep the revs going. That was quite an interesting descent. We came from all the way up there, blimey. I reckon it's going to be nightfall by the time we get there, you know. When's a job due? Remaining 3.5 hours. Expected between 5 and 11:45 p.m. Okay, let's get rid of that. ETA is currently 11 p.m. So we're just about on time. Hopefully we won't lose any more time here. So this is a weird village called Jesus Maria, or Jesus Maria. And it's all like cobblestone going through. As an archway and stuff. It's obviously quite a religious kind of town. But as you can see, the road is completely cobbled. Which is just something you don't see anymore. An oldie worldy kind of place. Let's have a quick look at the map. See if I can get a better view. Alright, looks like we've got to go through the town and then past the drop-off point, and it looks like it's outside of the town. And yeah, it is starting to go dark now quite quickly. So this town actually has a bit of a one-way system going on. It's one way through here because there's like a weird, you can't see it now at night time, but there's like a repair centre there. There's a market going on. Actually, we don't have to go through the town, so you might not see it. But it does have a one-way loop, an anti-clockwise circular one-way loop that you have to kind of go back down that way, I think it is, to carry on. But we're going to go past it anyway. So we'll put the main beams on. Of course, we'll freak out the AI. Keep our 1500 RPM. Oh, that was close on that trailer. Now look at it. This is now a very different experience. Now everything suddenly feels like a lot more closed in. And it's not even properly dark yet. Oh, there's a coach. Stay away. Thankfully, I've not seen many coaches on this journey so far. And if we manage to finish the job without seeing another one, I'm fine with that. I've just noticed that they've got a double yellow line here, which makes me wonder... now if that single yellow line actually allows an overtake in Mexico, and the double yellow is the one that says don't overtake. That's what I'm thinking. We've got a left turn here somewhere. So when I was saying the AI is overtaking on a solid line, maybe in Mexico that's the idea. I think this is taking us down to the drop-off point. I'm not sure. I've still got 25 miles left. And this looks like a proper public road, so maybe not. Rio San Lucas. Yeah, it is. We've got traffic behind us. I like this. Look at this. They're quite a fan of speed bumps. Look. I mean, you put the speed bump right before you turn. In my opinion, that's dumb. Because if you hit that speed bump and you're going too quick, you're already going too quick. That speed bump should be further back. To let you know there's a bend coming, not on the bend itself. I presume that is a random event on our left. Those workers are pretty vigilant, eh? 9:50 p.m. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The Nokia's going. They want to know what the delivery is. I don't know why. Our ETA is still 10:30. We're still well within time right now. If you carry on though, look, it gets even more twisty again. Blimey. Oh, fuel station, that's handy. Right, I think now we're on the road that leads us to our drop-off. Huazamota. That's how you say it. Well, that's good. It means you can actually refuel on the way out again. But we've managed to do it. We started off with about, what, 7/8 of a tank? And we've got just over half. So that's not too bad. Get ready to keep right. Bit of a late night drop off this for some, was it limestone we're carrying? Let's change the zoom on that map. Probably waking everybody up bringing a truck like this through. Hey, we made it. Okay, right, where are we going? Alright, reversing in there. We can do that. I'm sure they don't mind us driving over this. Well, I think we did that journey without incident, so I think we've got a full amount of XP. We've arrived within time, I think. Oh, hang on, this is not as straightforward as it looks. Just be careful of that thing. Gotta watch that. Yeah, we're close. You can hardly see that sticking out bit though. Look at that. That's insane. This is one place where you can easily scratch your truck. There we go. Right, brake on. Engine off. Press enter. Unload. Ground limestone, that was it. 326 miles, time taken 14 hours, fuel consumed 92 gallons. 111,000 paid. Long distance delivery bonus, nice. Proficiency bonus. Yep, and we dinged level 40. Rather nice paycheck. Out the way here. Forget we've still got our trailer with us because this is an owned trailer. Good stuff. Enjoyed that. That was pretty good fun. Looks nice when it's all lit up, this truck, doesn't it? Don't forget, the links to the VOTB competition are in the video description, and I'll drop a link in there as well for the console guide in case you want to know how to do that. But I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Until the next one, take care. Happy trucking.